One Chiefs tied for the NFL's best record with the Lions. However, the majority of their wins are by a single score, and 6 have been decided in the final play or 2. Most recently, it was the last play that allowed the Chiefs to win, as the Raiders botched the snap while in field goal range. So here is Patrick Mahomes on those close calls. I don't know if enjoy is the word for it, but I think it keeps you motivated, which I think can be a good thing in the end. I think sometimes I look back on the game we lost in the Super Bowl, and we were very dominant throughout the regular season. It's just kind of like you get to this point where you start coasting because you're just winning games, you're just kind of doing the normal thing. Whereas if you look at us last year, even though it didn't go the way we wanted to, it feels like we just continued to work every single week, and we knew we had to get better. We didn't let the details slip, and we ended up playing our best football at the end of the year. So that's the hope, is that with all these close finishes, we're getting wins, but it's keeping us hungry so that we can try to continue to get better as the season goes on. So Patrick Mahomes twisting it on us all and telling us that this is actually good for the Chiefs to be winning games by just a narrow margin. Mina, do you think these close games are actually good for the Chiefs? I do not. I think Patrick Mahomes is capable of finding motivation anywhere. It's part of what makes him elite, and I think that he would have it regardless of whether or not they're winning these close games. The fact that they are winning them and squeaking by is just indicative to me of the vulnerability of this team. First, we should say historically, teams that have won, as many close games as they have, and I think if they win one more, they would join just 3 others in NFL history. Most recently, you remember that Vikings team from a few years ago that proved to be somewhat fraudulent in the playoffs. It is very unprecedented for a team to be squeaking by as much as they have and then to be excellent and go on a Super Bowl run. The other thing is I look at this team, and I just see a lot of reasons why they're barely squeaking by. It's not just luck, they're a lot more flawed than they have been in recent years. Patrick mentioned the Bucs Super Bowl loss, and I look at this offensive line, and I have similar concerns to what we saw play out there, particularly at the tackle position. Then defensively, I think we've seen some cracks emerge in recent weeks in that secondary, insufficient pass rush. All of this is to say, the record and the performance we're seeing in close games, this is who the Chiefs are, you guys. The reason why they are playing such close games is that they're a flawed team, and they have Patrick Mahomes, who is the best quarterback in the NFL. So I'm not betting against them entirely. I just don't have a ton of confidence in this team, and I think those scores reflect that. Yeah, I mean no argument that the Chiefs are a flawed team, but so are the other 31 in the NFL, right? I mean, Mike Tomlin said every team has flaws in a salary cap sport, and the Chiefs are no different. But I don't look at the Chiefs winning a lot of one-score games as the canary in the coal mine. I look at it as a virtue. We didn't think it was a bad sign for the 2003 to 2004 New England Patriots when they won 13 consecutive one-score games. We didn't look at it as a warning sign that they weren't going to be capable of competing and winning a championship. I think the only point of difference is that we're talking about the Chiefs trying to do something that no other team has done in the Super Bowl era, which is three-peat. From there, I can understand why there would be some skepticism, especially when you saw what happened at the end of the Raiders game and the call. There were a lot of debates about whether or not that should be a false start or whatever you have. But here's the deal. The Kansas City Chiefs start the season in the AFC Championship game. That's where they end up every single year Patrick Mahomes has been the starting quarterback. So, I mean, that's where they're starting. We thought last year that the Kansas City Chiefs were in trouble when they lost Christmas Day to the Las Vegas Raiders, and then they didn't lose another game. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They've got a lot of moving parts around them in the first half.